how to correctly ignore the woman you like and make her come back. Stoic life lessons. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If you're tired of being ignored and taken for granted, it's time to reclaim your power and change the game. In this video, we'll dive deep into Stoic life lessons that will teach you how to correctly ignore the woman you like, turning the tables in your favor. But remember, this isn't about playing games. It's about valuing yourself and demanding the respect you deserve. Are you ready to stop being the fool and start being the man who commands respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's begin this transformative journey together. 1. Decide firmly. To begin with, let's remember the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The first and most crucial step in reclaiming your power in any relationship is to make a decision, and to make it with unwavering determination. Too often, men find themselves in a cycle of indecision, swayed by fleeting emotions and the fear of loneliness. But if you truly want to move on from a woman who doesn't respect you or treat you as you deserve, you must do so with absolute conviction. This is not the time for hesitation or second-guessing. It's about making a choice that aligns with your self-worth and sticking to it as if your very life depended on it, because, in a very real sense, it does. When you decide to distance yourself from someone who is toxic to your well-being, you're not just walking away from her, you're walking towards your own liberation. But beware, this is where many falter. The momentary pangs of loneliness, the sudden longing when she reaches out with a simple text, these are the moments that test your resolve. And here lies the danger. Giving in even once can unravel all the progress you've made. If you waver, if you allow her back into your life when you know she doesn't deserve that place, you're not just disrespecting yourself, you're relinquishing control over your own emotions. This is the very antithesis of what Stoicism teaches us. What is Stoicism? It's the philosophy of mastering oneself, of understanding that true power lies in governing your own reactions, not in trying to control others. Men often mistakenly believe that cutting ties makes them strong, but in reality, many are merely avoiding the temporary discomfort of confrontation. The true strength lies in enduring the loneliness, in resisting the urge to crawl back, and in standing firm in your decision because you recognize that your value is not defined by someone else's presence in your life. This is one of the essential Stoic life lessons, to understand that your worth is intrinsic and not dependent on external validation. The moment you give her the power to play with your emotions, to pull you back whenever she pleases, is the moment you lose all respect, not just in her eyes, but in your own. Before you even think about cutting ties, take a moment to deeply reflect. What do you truly want from life? Does this woman align with your vision of happiness and fulfillment? Or is she merely a source of recurring pain and regret? If she doesn't treat you with the respect you deserve, if she continually drags you into a cycle of suffering, then the answer is clear. You must let go. And once that decision is made, it must be final. No matter what she says or does, no matter how lonely you feel, you cannot allow yourself to go back. This is about reclaiming your life, about asserting that you will no longer be manipulated or controlled by someone who doesn't value you. Remember, this is not a temporary fix or a game to play. It's about becoming the master of your own story, about putting yourself first, because if you don't, no one else will. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, said Marcus Aurelius. So think of yourself with high regard, and let your actions reflect that self-respect. In doing so, you embody the true essence of Stoic life lessons, making decisions rooted in self-worth and unshakable resolve. Only by mastering your own emotions can you truly take control of your destiny and live a life that is authentically yours. 2. Gradual dismissal. The next step on your journey to regaining control is what I like to call the gradual missile, an art form of making her feel your absence without burning bridges or making hasty decisions. Here's the deal. If you think that cutting off all contact with a woman overnight, as if you're flipping a switch, is the way to go, you're setting yourself up for failure. Why? Because most men who attempt this abrupt approach often lack the self-discipline to maintain it. They might manage to stay away for a short time, but eventually the loneliness creeps in, and they go crawling back to her, apologizing, and trying to mend what they broke in their moment of weakness. The result? They end up diminishing whatever value they had in her eyes. It's a cycle that only leads to regret, and quite frankly, it's pathetic. So if you truly want this dismissal to be effective, it has to be executed with grace and strategy. The secret lies in being gradual. This isn't about a sudden disappearance. It's about creating a slow, almost imperceptible distance. Start by subtly reducing your interactions, respond to messages less frequently, take longer to return her calls, and gradually show that your interest is waning. This isn't a dramatic exit. It's a measured withdrawal that signals you're no longer willing to entertain her games and manipulations. By approaching it this way, you're not only demonstrating incredible self-control, but you're also placing her in a position of uncertainty. She'll start to notice the change, begin to wonder why you're acting differently, and question whether she may have pushed you too far. This uncertainty can work wonders. It's like a drop of water repeatedly hitting the same spot. At first it seems insignificant, but over time it creates a crack, a small fissure in her confidence that could grow until it's too large to ignore. Here's a story from modern life that illustrates this perfectly. Imagine a man, successful and confident, who started noticing that the woman he was dating was taking him for granted. Instead of confronting her head-on or cutting her off abruptly, he chose a different route. He began to slowly withdraw, prioritizing his own life, focusing on his career, and spending more time with friends. He didn't ignore her entirely, but the small changes in his behavior were enough to make her notice. She started to miss the attention she had once taken for granted, and soon she was the one reaching out more frequently, trying to figure out what went wrong. By the time she realized what had happened, he had already reclaimed his power. He didn't have to cut her off completely. He simply made her feel the void his absence created. And that's where the magic truly lies. When she realizes that she no longer holds the control she once did, when she sees that you're no longer easily manipulated, that's when you've won, not because you cut ties abruptly, but because you masterfully created a void that she can't ignore. This is the essence of the gradual missile. It's not about a sudden break, but a strategic distancing that leaves her questioning where she lost control. In the end, this approach doesn't just regain your power, it also subtly teaches her the importance of valuing what she once took for granted. If you found this helpful, comment "Awesome" below so we can connect. 3. Resist temptations. To navigate the intricate dynamics of attraction, especially when you're deliberately ignoring a woman you like to make her come back, you must understand the importance of restraint and self-control. Third step, the test of fire. Resist temptations and show your true strength. This is the pivotal moment where many men falter, falling into a well-laid trap. In this critical phase of the dismissal process, your resolve will undoubtedly be tested. She may attempt to provoke you, lure you back, or manipulate your emotions, trying every trick in the book to break your composure. This is where the distinction between the strong and the weak is truly drawn. Men who lack firmness, who lack a Stoic mindset, and the ability to control their impulses, often revert to begging for attention, thereby unraveling the very strategy they've been painstakingly building. For high-value men, this is the time to shine, to exhibit true strength of character. Resisting temptations is not just important, it's absolutely essential. Yes, you might still have feelings for her, and yes, it will be incredibly difficult. But here's the critical point. A man who truly knows his worth doesn't settle for leftovers. He doesn't lower his standards, doesn't chase, and certainly doesn't allow himself to be manipulated by fleeting desires. Giving in to temptation only reveals vulnerability, indicating that you're still susceptible to her influence. And rest assured, she'll pick up on that immediately. All your effort, every aspect of your dismissal strategy will crumble because you couldn't resist. You'll lose the upper hand because you lacked the fortitude to stand firm when it mattered most. The effectiveness of dismissal hinges entirely on your ability to maintain your composure, even when she escalates her attempts to grab your attention. If she tries to provoke you, make you jealous, or drop subtle hints on social media, your most powerful weapon is your silence. Don't check her social media updates. Don't inquire about who she's with or what she's doing. The more you remain unaffected, the more control you exert over the situation. This will undoubtedly unsettle her. She'll begin to realize that her actions no longer hold sway over you, that the power she once wielded has evaporated. The key here is that the more you ignore, the more you resist, the more you assert your true value. It's not an easy game, but that's exactly what it is. A game of power and control. Temptation might be strong, but your willpower must be stronger. When she observes that nothing she does can shake you, that her provocations are futile, she'll start to see you in a different light as a man who is no longer easily manipulated. This is when you rise above as a true man, someone who knows his worth and refuses to settle for mere scraps of attention. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. If you find these insights helpful, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue to explore the profound influence of Stoicism together. 4. Shift focus to yourself. When you're caught up in the emotional whirlwind of a relationship, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. If you've been fixated on a woman who hasn't valued you, it's time to recognize a crucial Stoic principle: the power of focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The moment you decide to shift your focus entirely from her to yourself is the moment you reclaim your power. Obsessing over her every move, wondering who she's with or what she's doing, only traps you in a cycle of frustration and anxiety. This fixation is a toxic loop that prevents you from moving forward and keeps you chained to a relationship that no longer serves you. Instead, imagine redirecting all that energy inward, investing it in your growth and self-improvement. Your self-esteem may have taken a hit during the relationship, but now is the perfect time to rebuild it, stronger than ever. Start by immersing yourself in activities that reignite your passion for life, whether it's picking up a new hobby, committing to a fitness routine, or simply eating better and seeing those changes reflected in the mirror. These actions aren't just distractions, they are deliberate steps towards your own evolution. By expanding your interests and meeting new people, you broaden your perspective and distance yourself emotionally from the past. Over time, you'll come to see that the problem wasn't you. It was the toxic dynamic that kept you feeling small and unworthy. Taking care of yourself is not just about moving on, it's about transforming into the best version of yourself. As you grow and evolve, the hold she had over you diminishes. You start to see that your happiness doesn't hinge on someone else's validation, but on your own self-worth. The Stoics teach us that true power lies in self-control and discipline, and when you focus on your own well-being, you naturally distance yourself from those who don't appreciate your value. This shift in focus is liberating, like a weight lifted off your shoulders, allowing you to see life in its true vastness, far greater than any one relationship. Here's the ultimate truth. When your mind is set on personal growth, nothing else, not her, not the temptations, not the emotional traps, can sway you. You understand that the most important person in your life is you, and once you fully embrace that, the power she once had over you vanishes. The dismissal becomes natural, effortless, as you realize that your own well-being is the priority. What could be more important than becoming the person you were always meant to be? Embrace the Stoic mindset, focus on your growth, and watch as the past fades into insignificance, replaced by the confident, empowered person you've become. This is not just a dismissal, it's a powerful act of self-affirmation, a declaration that your life is yours to shape and no one else's. Before we reveal the fifth key, take a moment to subscribe to our channel and become part of our community of great minds. Don't forget to like this video so you don't miss any of our invaluable advice. 5. Break limiting beliefs. Breaking the chains of limiting beliefs. Realize she's not the only one. You've now arrived at a crucial juncture in your journey toward self-respect and true freedom, the moment you liberate yourself from the beliefs that have kept you bound to a woman who may not be right for you. It's a harsh truth, but one that must be faced. The idea that a particular woman is the one for you, that you can't live without her, that she's your soulmate, is one of the biggest self-deceptions a man can fall into. It's an illusion, a fantasy that imprisons you in a cycle of emotional dependence, where your sense of self-worth is dictated by her presence in your life. Imagine being weighed down by a heavy anchor, unable to move freely because you've convinced yourself that you must do whatever it takes to keep her by your side, even at the cost of your self-respect and dignity. This mindset is not only destructive, it's a poison that seeps into your soul, making you believe that the fear of losing her is greater than your need to respect yourself. But let me tell you, this belief is not just false, it's toxic. You've seen those Hollywood movies and read those fairy tales where soulmates are destined to be together. Well, it's time to wake up. In the real world, people often stay together for reasons far removed from love, out of fear, out of habit, or simply because it's convenient. But none of that equates to true happiness or a healthy relationship. You must let go of the notion that this woman is the only one who can bring you happiness. If she doesn't respect you, if she doesn't appreciate your value, then she is not the one for you. Think about the countless opportunities you're missing out on by holding on to this false belief. The world is vast, filled with people who can enrich your life, who will respect and value you for who you are. But as long as you remain shackled by the idea that she's the only one, you're shutting yourself off from these possibilities. It's time to free yourself from this limiting belief. By releasing this toxic mindset, you open the door to new opportunities, to the unexpected, to relationships with people who truly share your values and goals. Remember, the most important person you need in your life is yourself. Everyone else, including the woman you've placed on a pedestal, is optional. Once you grasp this truth, you'll find that the power she once held over you vanishes, and with it, the emotional chains that have kept you from truly living. Now, consider this. How often have you sacrificed your own happiness and self-respect for the sake of someone who doesn't see your true worth? Reflect on that and ask yourself if it's worth continuing down that path. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Happiness and fulfillment come from within, and no one person should have the power to dictate your self-worth or your future. Embrace Stoic happiness by realizing that your happiness is your responsibility and no one else's. In Stoicism today, this principle remains a cornerstone. Your inner peace and freedom come from your ability to let go of what you cannot control, including the affection or approval of others. By internalizing this lesson, you empower yourself to live authentically and fully, free from the chains of limiting beliefs. 6. Classy dismissal. When it comes to mastering the art of dismissal, it's crucial to understand that this concept is not synonymous with rudeness or disrespect. If you believe that dismissing a woman means treating her poorly, you're missing the essence of what it truly means to maintain your dignity. True dismissal is grounded in indifference. It's about no longer allowing her to play with your emotions, and it's about being cold when necessary without becoming cruel. The last thing you want to do is reveal that you're so affected by her that you need to resort to rudeness as a defense mechanism. This behavior only exposes that, deep down, she still has a significant influence over you. Let's delve into the subtle art of polite indifference, which lies at the heart of the Stoic mindset. As a man of high value, your responses should be calculated and measured. Reply to her messages, but do so on your own terms when it suits you, not when it suits her. This demonstrates that you have other priorities and that your life no longer revolves around her. However, it's vital to handle this with class and courtesy. When you behave rudely, you're essentially giving her what she wants, a reason to continue treating you poorly and justifying her own mistakes. Worse, you're showing that you're still emotionally entangled with her, that she still has the power to unsettle you. A high-value man who embodies the Stoic mindset understands the importance of maintaining calm and dignity. He doesn't allow negative emotions or impulses for revenge to dictate his actions. The purpose of dismissing someone isn't to hurt or humiliate them. It's to show that you no longer require their presence to find happiness. You are strong, self-sufficient, and nothing they do can disturb your peace. Remember, effective dismissal is always accompanied by dignified behavior. Never lower yourself to her level by showing that you're hurt or resentful. Instead, rise above it and let your actions be driven by a conscious decision to move on. By adopting this approach, you not only regain control of your life, but you also demonstrate that nothing can disturb your inner tranquility. And that, my friend, is true power, the power that comes from within, from a place of self-assuredness and unwavering confidence. As Marcus Aurelius, a famed Stoic philosopher, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This means that instead of responding with anger or hurt, you should respond with indifference and dignity, showing that you are above petty emotions. So ask yourself this: how can you embody this Stoic mindset in your own life? How can you ensure that your actions reflect the inner strength and calm that define a high-value man? It's not about being cold-hearted, but about protecting your peace and maintaining your dignity. When you master this, you not only elevate yourself, but also set a standard for how you expect to be treated. This approach is not just about winning back a woman's respect or attention, it's about winning Stoic respect for yourself. Every action you take should align with the principles of Stoicism, self-control, rationality, and emotional resilience. By dismissing her with grace and not letting her see that she affects you, you show that you are a man who is in control of his emotions and his life. This is the hallmark of a high-value man, someone who lives by the philosophy of Win Stoic, where every challenge is met with calmness and every setback is an opportunity for growth. As you navigate through these moments, keep in mind the words of Seneca. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This means that the turmoil you feel may be more about your thoughts than the actual situation. By applying this Stoic wisdom, you can avoid unnecessary suffering and maintain your emotional balance. So, next time you find yourself in a situation where dismissal is necessary, remember that it's not about being rude or hurtful. It's about showing that you are above the drama, that you have moved on, and that nothing can shake your Stoic mindset. This is how you reclaim your power and demonstrate that you are a high-value man, unbothered by the actions of others, and focused on your own growth and happiness. Comment, "I agree," if you resonate with this perspective, or "I don't think so," if you have a different opinion. 7. Reinvent yourself. The seventh step in reclaiming your life after a difficult breakup is perhaps the most transformative: reinventing yourself and redefining your priorities. This isn't just about putting emotional distance between you and the woman who once occupied your thoughts. It's about using this experience as a catalyst for profound personal growth. Think of it as a moment to refocus on the areas of your life that may have been neglected while you were deeply involved in that relationship. Whether it's your career, friendships, health, or long-held dreams, now is the time to re-evaluate and invest in yourself fully, not merely as a reaction to the past, but as a proactive step toward a brighter future. Reinventing yourself means embarking on a journey of self-discovery. It requires a deep reflection on what truly matters to you, those things you may have pushed aside while prioritizing someone else's needs over your own. It's time to place your own priorities at the forefront. Always wanted to start that new project, travel to an exotic location, or learn a skill you've always been curious about? This is your moment. By reinventing yourself, you're not simply filling the void left by her absence. You are forging a new, more resilient version of yourself, one that is not defined by loss, but by newfound strength and wisdom. Furthermore, this is the perfect opportunity to redefine your expectations and standards for future relationships. You now possess the clarity of knowing what you will no longer tolerate and what values and qualities are non-negotiable in a partner. Set higher standards for yourself and for those you welcome into your life from this point onward. This reinvention is not just a conclusion to the healing process. It's the beginning of living with greater purpose and intention. The process of reinventing yourself is the final, crucial step that seals your journey of transformation. It's not merely about escaping a toxic relationship. It's about evolving, growing, and coming out the other side stronger than ever. When you commit fully to this transformation, you leave no room for regrets, because you will be too busy thriving at your highest potential. And in doing so, my friend, you become untouchable, a living testament to the power of Stoicism, proving that what was once an obstacle has now become the way forward. This is the essence of Stoic life lessons, where each challenge is an opportunity for growth, and each setback a stepping stone toward a better version of yourself. 8. Become self-sufficient. The final step in your journey to reclaiming your power and attracting the woman you desire is to become the man who never depends on anyone else for his sense of worth or fulfillment. This is where true strength lies, not in having someone by your side to complete you, but in understanding that you are already whole on your own. The idea that you need someone to fill a void within you is the greatest illusion, the most dangerous enemy you could face, because it undermines the very essence of what it means to be truly free. Real freedom, real power, comes from knowing that your happiness, your success, and your peace of mind are entirely within your control. Picture yourself as the man who walks into any room with an aura of confidence, who doesn't seek validation from a woman or anyone else to know his worth. This is the man who has reached a level of self-sufficiency that makes him invincible. When you embody this mindset, you not only transform yourself, but you also influence those around you. The woman who once believed she could manipulate your emotions will see that her power over you has evaporated. She will realize that you have risen to a level far beyond her reach. And in doing so, you've won not by rejecting her, but by becoming so complete within yourself that rejection isn't even necessary. Imagine a modern scenario where a man, after being ghosted by a woman he deeply cared about, decides to stop chasing validation from others. Instead of trying to win her back, he focuses on improving himself, his career, his fitness, his mental health. He invests in his own growth, surrounding himself with people who uplift and inspire him. As months pass, the woman notices the changes in him, realizing that the man she once took for granted is no longer the same. He has evolved into someone she can no longer control, someone who is now beyond her influence. This isn't about revenge or proving a point. It's about personal evolution. In this journey, the ultimate victory is not about winning her back. It's about conquering your own insecurities, your fears, and the emotional dependencies that once held you back. When you reach this point, you don't just close a chapter, you open a new one where you are the true protagonist of your life, the master of your destiny. This is where Stoic happiness is found, where the teachings of Stoicism today come into full play. You have transcended the need for external validation, and that is the most powerful victory you can achieve. So, congratulations. Now go forth and live like the man you were always meant to be, strong, independent, and unshakable in your resolve. In closing, reflect on this. What would your life look like if you fully embraced your independence? If you stopped seeking validation from others? How would your relationships change if you truly believed that your happiness comes from within? These are the questions that will guide you toward your true potential, toward becoming the man who doesn't just survive life's challenges, but thrives in them. Remember, the goal isn't to win her back, the goal is to win yourself back, and in doing so, everything else will naturally fall into place. If you like the video, leave your comment. You don't know what to comment? Comment "I dare," so I know you made it to the end. As we wrap up, remember that the power of self-respect and personal growth is now in your hands. Ignoring someone who doesn't value you isn't just about making a statement, it's about reclaiming your dignity and realizing your true worth. The steps we've explored today are more than tactics. They're a blueprint for becoming a stronger, more independent man. Now it's time to apply these principles in your daily life and see how they transform not only your relationships, but also your sense of self. If this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could use this wisdom. And before you go, drop a comment below about your experiences with this approach, or let us know what topics you'd like to see next. Subscribe to Win Stoic for more insights like these. Together, we continue to grow. 9 proofs that she only wants you when you no longer want her. High-value men, Stoic life lessons. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." In the realm of relationships, this wisdom holds profound significance. Have you ever noticed that the less you chase, the more you're pursued? Today we're diving into the fascinating dynamics of attraction, where pulling back can actually draw someone closer. As we explore this paradox through the lens of Stoic principles, I encourage you to reflect on how adopting this mindset could transform your personal growth and happiness. What do you think about this approach? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Win Stoic community for more insights. Number 1. Radiate confidence and assurance. Confidence and assurance are not just qualities that draw people in, they are the pillars of a man who understands his worth and refuses to compromise his values. These traits, deeply rooted in Stoicism, represent more than just an outward display. They are the manifestations of a profound inner strength and self-awareness that set high-value men apart. Stoicism teaches us that our value is not determined by others' opinions or the approval of women, but by our virtues and moral character. This is a truth that David, a dedicated follower of Stoic principles, knows all too well. David's interactions with women are not driven by a need for validation or affection. Instead, he approaches relationships with a calm, patient demeanor, fully aware of his own worth. He does not rush to impress or seek immediate gratification. Instead, David's focus remains on maintaining his dignity and emotional well-being, a choice that allows him to build connections based on mutual respect and shared values. David's ability to stand firm in his principles, even when others fail to recognize his value, is a testament to his deep self-respect and patience. This resilience not only protects him from emotional turmoil, but also creates an aura of mystery and assurance that naturally draws women towards him. His disciplined approach, setting clear boundaries, and unwavering commitment to his values make him a man of substance, one who is neither easily swayed nor controlled. As Stoicism teaches, true confidence comes from within, by focusing on personal growth, virtues, and emotional intelligence rather than external validation. A man becomes inherently more attractive. Women are instinctively drawn to men who exude confidence and assurance, as these qualities signal strength, reliability, and a deep sense of self-awareness. By embracing Stoic life lessons and prioritizing self-respect and inner peace, men can transform into figures of charisma and magnetism, commanding respect and admiration. This shift not only enhances their appeal to women, but also enriches their lives with Stoic happiness and greater fulfillment. In life and relationships, embodying confidence and assurance while letting go of the need for external approval allows one to cultivate true happiness and lasting peace. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By focusing on our internal virtues and remaining steadfast in our principles, we not only become irresistible to others, but also find deeper contentment within ourselves. So, as you navigate your relationships and daily life, remember to radiate confidence from within, rooted in your understanding of what is Stoicism and how it guides you towards a life of greater purpose and Stoic happiness. If you find these helpful, comment below, "I am confident," to express your commitment to change. Number 2. Cultivate self-sufficiency. One of the most powerful principles you can adopt in your interactions is the cultivation of self-sufficiency. When you show that you're not dependent on a woman's attention or approval, you naturally become more intriguing to her. There's a psychological aspect at play here. When you maintain a bit of distance and don't rush to seek her validation, you create an aura of mystery. This piques her curiosity, as people are naturally drawn to figure out what lies beneath the surface when someone doesn't behave in the predictable, needy way. Think about it like this. When someone who captures your interest doesn't seem to prioritize your attention, your desire to understand their motives grows stronger. Picture yourself in a situation where a woman's signals are unclear, and instead of jumping to decipher or react to them, you take a step back. This doesn't mean you become distant or dismissive, but rather that you show you have your own life and priorities. You're not waiting around for her approval or changing your plans just to be available. Such behavior sends a clear message that you value your time and space, which in turn makes you far more attractive. Often, when you subtly distance yourself, you'll notice she starts to invest more effort in getting your attention, because your slight detachment has sparked her interest. This approach is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to focus on what we can control and to let go of what we cannot. By not being overly eager to gain someone's approval, you exhibit emotional strength and self-reliance. Your confidence isn't derived from external validation, but from within a trait that is incredibly magnetic. In simpler terms, when you stop worrying about what she thinks or how she might react, you take back control of the situation. This isn't about being indifferent. It's about striking a balance in your relationships. When you cherish your independence and lead a life filled with your own passions and goals, you naturally command respect and admiration. Women are often drawn to men who display self-sufficiency because it signals capability and inner strength, two qualities that are universally appealing. Integrating Stoic principles into your relationships with women means understanding the power of self-restraint and emotional resilience. It's about mastering your impulses rather than letting them master you. When you show that you can remain composed and independent, regardless of how the relationship unfolds, you demonstrate profound inner strength. Independence doesn't mean shutting others out. It means being self-reliant and emotionally grounded. It's about having your own aspirations, interests, and ambitions. And while you may be willing to share these with someone special, your happiness isn't contingent upon their attention or approval. This mindset is incredibly attractive because it reflects maturity and a well-rounded character. The next time you find yourself overly focused on gaining a woman's attention, remind yourself of the Stoic value of independence. Show her, and more importantly, show yourself, that you have an engaging life beyond her validation. This will not only increase your allure, but will also empower you to live your best life. Embrace the strength that comes from being independent, and let it enhance your interactions, making you a man of depth and substance in her eyes. Number 3. Show you have different focuses. When you truly understand Stoicism, you recognize the immense power of focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest. This wisdom is especially relevant in relationships where the tendency to seek validation can often backfire. Imagine you're a man who has embraced this Stoic principle in your interactions with women. Instead of constantly seeking her approval or trying to always be available, you take a different approach, one that reflects independence, strength, and confidence. Women are instinctively attracted to men who have their own lives, passions, and goals outside of the relationship. By not always being at her beck and call, you send a powerful message that you're a man of substance, deeply engaged in your personal growth and interests. Think about the image of a man who has cultivated a life full of rich experiences. Perhaps you love to travel, spending your vacations exploring different corners of the world, immersing yourself in various cultures, and capturing those moments through your lens. When you share these stories, you aren't just recounting your adventures. You're showcasing a life that is full and vibrant, suggesting that any relationship with you would be equally dynamic. This sense of independence and self-reliance is magnetic, especially to women who value depth and maturity in a partner. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By focusing on your own growth and passions, you naturally become a high-value man, a man who doesn't need external validation to feel complete. But it's not just about having hobbies or interests. It's about how you manage your emotional energy. High-value men, or win Stoic, as I like to call them, are selective with their attention. They don't drop everything at the first sign of interest from a woman. Instead, they maintain their commitments and stay true to their goals. This doesn't mean you're cold or indifferent. It means you're steady, resilient, and grounded qualities that are deeply attractive because they signify a man who is not swayed by every passing whim. This emotional strength is a reflection of the Stoic virtues, where you remain unaffected by the need for constant external approval. So, how do you apply this in your life? It's not about playing hard to get or manipulating emotions. It's about demonstrating your core strength and focus. By maintaining your own direction in life and not being overly eager to please, you create a sense of intrigue and challenge. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-assured and have a clear path in life. This doesn't mean you should ignore her or make her feel unimportant, quite the opposite. It means you value your own life and interests enough to create a balanced relationship where both partners can thrive. Reflecting on this, ask yourself, are you living a life that naturally attracts respect and admiration? Are your actions aligned with the Stoic principles of focus, resilience, and independence? These are the traits that define a high-value man. As Seneca wisely put it, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. By preparing yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically, you position yourself as a man of high value, someone who doesn't need to chase after validation because you've already built a fulfilling life. Comment: I agree if you resonate with this perspective, or I don't think so if you have a different opinion. Number 4. You avoid the pursuit of validation. One of the most profound lessons from Stoic philosophy is the emphasis on focusing on what lies within our control, our actions, our thoughts, and our attitudes, while letting go of the need for external validation. This principle is especially relevant in the context of relationships, where the pursuit of validation can often undermine the very confidence that makes you attractive in the first place. High-value men understand that their worth is not dictated by another's approval, but by their own sense of self-respect and emotional resilience. When you stop seeking a woman's validation and instead focus on your own journey, you embody a form of self-reliance that is both rare and highly attractive. It's a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout to be noticed. It simply is. The idea of self-sufficiency is not about withdrawing from others, but about cultivating a strong sense of inner contentment that doesn't waver in the face of external opinions. In practical terms, this might mean ending conversations decisively rather than lingering in hopes of prolonging interaction. Whether you're engaged in light banter or a more profound dialogue, knowing when to gracefully say goodbye and move on reflects that you value your time and do not rely on her attention for self-worth. This behavior is not about being dismissive. It's about demonstrating that your world does not revolve around anyone else's validation. It's a subtle yet powerful way to convey your emotional independence, a key trait of high-value men. In today's world, where digital communication can easily lead to overdependence on constant interaction, the Stoic approach advises moderation. Instead of bombarding a woman with messages, Focus on sending occasional thoughtful texts that show you're interested but not reliant on her response. This restraint reflects the Stoic virtues of self-control and temperance, sparking curiosity and signaling that your self-esteem is rooted in who you are, not in how often someone else reaches out to you. It's about quality over quantity. Each message you send should carry weight rather than just filling a void. Physical closeness is another area where the principles of Stoic happiness and respect come into play. While physical touch can deepen a connection, it should always be guided by mutual consent and respect for boundaries. Casual touches, like a hand on the arm, can signal interest, but true intimacy should unfold naturally and at a pace that respects both your comfort levels. By allowing her the space to initiate more intimate contact when she's ready, you're not only showing respect for her boundaries, but also demonstrating control over your impulses, a core aspect of Stoic philosophy. This level of self-discipline is not just attractive, it's a foundation for healthy, balanced relationships. Number 5. Stimulating her interest to chase. Stimulating a woman's interest often lies in the delicate balance of not always being available. In the realm of romance, particularly when you find yourself entangled in the complexities of modern dating, it's crucial to recognize the power of subtly encouraging a woman to chase you. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human nature, both ancient and modern, and how the instinct to chase is deeply embedded in our psyche. Historically, the act of chasing was essential for survival and mating. These instincts, though now more refined, continue to influence how we behave in relationships today. Imagine the thrill of pursuing something new and desirable. This thrill often drives people to chase until they achieve their goal. The same principle applies to relationships. By not always giving her your undivided attention, you awaken a sense of intrigue and curiosity in her, encouraging her to close the gap between you. Think of it this way: when someone constantly bombards you with messages or seeks your attention relentlessly, it initially feels flattering, but quickly becomes overwhelming, eventually leading to disinterest. This phenomenon, known as intermittent reinforcement, shows that unpredictable behavior can often create more excitement and engagement than being consistently available. Unpredictability in this context becomes your ally. It makes you more appealing because it adds an element of excitement to the relationship. When you maintain your emotional balance and refrain from chasing after her, you not only protect your peace of mind, but also enhance your attractiveness. You present yourself as a man who has his own life, goals, and interests, someone who isn't desperate for her attention. This is where the principles of Stoicism come into play. Stoicism teaches us the importance of staying calm and collected, not allowing external circumstances to disrupt our inner peace. By not constantly seeking validation from her, you keep your contentment within your control, demonstrating that your happiness isn't dependent solely on her. Now, think about always being available to her, always saying yes to her requests. While this might seem like a way to show your interest, it often leads to you being taken for granted. However, when you prioritize your ambitions, hobbies, and social engagements, sometimes even declining her invitations because you're genuinely busy, she begins to see you in a different light. She becomes curious about your life and activities, wondering why you're not always available. This curiosity drives her to invest more effort into the relationship, making her more interested in you. A real-life example can be seen in the way successful individuals, particularly those who are highly driven, often attract more attention by focusing on their own goals rather than constantly seeking approval from others. For instance, consider a man who is dedicated to his career or personal development. He spends his time working on his projects, improving himself, and engaging in meaningful activities. This man is not always available because he values his time and energy. Women find this trait attractive because it signals that he is a man of purpose, not easily swayed by fleeting desires. So, what are your thoughts on this approach? Have you noticed how maintaining your focus on your goals affects your relationships? Drop a comment below and share your experiences. If this resonates with you, simply type "Stop Pursuing." Your feedback is invaluable and keeps us inspired to create more content that empowers and uplifts you. Remember, the essence of Stoicism today is to cultivate a Stoic mindset that helps you navigate relationships with wisdom and strength, ensuring that you remain the master of your own fate. If you find these insights helpful, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue to explore the profound influence of Stoicism together. Number 6. Showcase the importance of your time. When you start to prioritize your own time and interests, you send a powerful message that your life is full and valuable, which naturally makes you more attractive. One of the key principles for any high-value man is to understand the importance of his time and not to waste it on things that do not contribute to his growth or happiness. As the Stoics remind us, time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. This philosophy is especially relevant when it comes to relationships. Women often gravitate towards men who are not constantly available because it signals that they are engaged in meaningful pursuits and have a strong sense of purpose. Imagine you're in the middle of an important task, perhaps you're deep into a project at work, or you're enjoying a well-earned break with your friends. Suddenly, she calls or messages you. Instead of dropping everything to respond, consider the impact of holding your ground. Politely let her know that you're currently busy and that you'll get back to her later. This small but significant action reinforces the idea that your time is precious and that you value your own life and responsibilities. This is what it means to be a high-value man. You're not just sitting around waiting for her attention, and this makes you much more desirable in her eyes. Now let's think about a situation at work where you're under pressure to meet a deadline. During this time, she reaches out to you. Instead of immediately responding, you decide to focus on your work and reply once you've accomplished a major task. When you do reply, you might say, "I was focused on a critical project and needed to ensure everything was handled properly before I could get back to you. How can I help you now?" This response not only shows your dedication to your professional goals, but also subtly communicates that you're not someone who will drop everything at a moment's notice. This kind of calm, collected demeanor is deeply rooted in Stoic principles, where control over one's actions and emotions is paramount. The beauty of this approach lies in its balance. By not always putting her first, you're not being rude or dismissive. Rather, you're showing that you respect your own time. This, in turn, teaches her to respect it as well. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By choosing not to react impulsively to her demands on your time, you maintain your composure and self-respect. Over time, this behavior can reshape the dynamics of your relationship, fostering a deeper mutual respect and understanding. In this way, you're not just teaching her to value your time, you're demonstrating what it means to be a man of integrity, one who values himself enough to set healthy boundaries. This is incredibly attractive to women because it shows that you are not easily swayed or distracted. You're a man on a mission, someone who has his priorities straight and knows what he stands for. This level of self-assuredness is a cornerstone of what it means to be a high-value man. And remember, it's not about playing games or trying to manipulate her into wanting you more. It's about living your life with purpose and letting her see that your time is a limited and precious resource. So, before you rush to meet her every need, pause and reflect on your own worth. Are you placing her above your own goals and aspirations? If so, it might be time to reassess your priorities. By aligning your actions with your values, you elevate yourself in her eyes, not by seeking her approval, but by demonstrating that you don't need it. In this video, we've explored the intriguing idea of how detaching yourself from the need for external validation can increase your attractiveness and deepen your relationships, a key principle in both Stoicism and personal growth. By focusing on your inner development and emotional self-reliance, you cultivate a strength that not only draws others to you, but also brings you true happiness. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you plan to apply these principles in your daily life? Share your insights in the comments below. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to give it a rating, subscribe to Win Stoic, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all things Stoicism. Keep evolving, and remember, your journey of self-improvement is your greatest asset.